Okay, here. Hey everybody, this is Dan Millen from Livernois Motorsport, and I'm just doing this video, something I really haven't done in the past, in response to somebody's comments. I'm going to look at it as bashing. I know Kevin's videos, both of them that are 10-minute long, he claims they're reviews on the company, and I guess I have to disagree, considering we're friends. If he's got any issues or problems, he's got my cell phone number, he's got my WhatsApp account, he can get a hold of me whenever he wants. So when he says this is a review, I completely disagree. I'm super disappointed. I'm actually pissed off that he didn't reach out to me specifically, because there's a lot of misinformation in that video. It's just craziness, I think. But let me go back to the, this is a bashing, not a review. And I guess in Kevin's mind, when he says it's not bashing because he, at the end or the second video, he says, we're real great guys. Dan and Andy are great guys. Well, Dan is, me, Dan, I'm part of Livernois Motorsports. So if you're going to go out there and bash us, I'm not a great guy, right? Let's be clear about that. So anyway, that's super, it's super irritating, like I said. Super disappointing. But I felt like I at least needed to comment on that is not a review. That is a straight up company bashing video. And he told me not to do the video, but I said I'd do the video, and I think it's important. And there's a couple things that I think I regret saying. I don't want to say regret, but at least, he said I said his business, but about him not paying for his Trackhawk. And I can appreciate that, but this is my business, and when you bash my business, and you don't have all the facts, I feel like you need to know everything. And, early on dealing with Kevin, the first problem he had with his car was it didn't make the same power at our shop as it did at the other shop in Texas. And some of that was due to altitude. So at least that's what we think, But what kind of person am I? What kind of company is Livernois Motorsport? He had the issue with his car. Didn't make the power. I think it made like 815 and it made 840 at our dyno. So we upped the pulley. Let me rewind. He complained it didn't make the power. I picked up the phone and said, you know what? Me and Dominic, we're going to come down there. We got on a plane. Nobody paid for it but Livernois. I paid for it. Me and one of my techs went down there. We changed the pulley on the dyno. We made the power he wanted. Super happy. At this point, I know we're talking about, is this a race car or is it not a race car? And at this particular point, this car was not a race car. It was definitely a street car, and I can appreciate that. But during all this stuff that happened, we did turn this into a race car. And, I know Kevin said there's a lot of 1,000 horsepower street cars out there, and I agree with that. But when we're trying to break records and do stuff that no one else has done before, you're going to have problems, you're going to break stuff, and you have to be okay with that. And I guess I thought Kevin was okay with that, but apparently not. And again, I go back to the first video he did with his displeasure of not making the power, but we fixed that, right? Everything that, I guess I look at how does life treat me is how well someone fixes their problems. And I think anytime there was a problem or an issue, we fixed it for Kevin and did all we could. Now let me go back to some of the race car stuff. So we did end up taking this thing, we did end up breaking a motor the first time out. I think when he was in Texas, and he ended up going somewhere where the DA was really, really good, like close to zero or maybe even negative. I don't remember. It was really good air, 50-degree weather, and that's when he broke his first engine in the car. And I think to me that's expected when we're trying to break records. And this is something that I think happens with cars, right? Especially when you're trying to do this. This is when the car turned into a race car, when he's at the track and we're trying to go 899 with the Charger. And we had the problems, we fixed it. Then we had the transmission problem. And I guess to me, that's normal. You're almost doubling the output of the car. The transmission's going to break. And this is a good example for everybody with these kind of cars, doubling the power. You have to understand Dodge, Chrysler, they never designed these transmissions to make double the power. Maybe a 10 to 20% increase in power is probably okay, but when you do this and you put stuff on the edge, it's going to break. So after we put his first engine back in the first engine in his car after it broke, we did put the stock transmission in it, and at that time I wasn't really comfortable with anybody doing the transmission. We haven't heard a lot of success on it, and his car was still shifting, but I told him it was on its way out, and he said, well, I'll just get another stock one. And I said, another stock one's going to do the same thing. We've got to upgrade it. And so it was between Paramount and Southern Hot Rod, and in the time that we put it back together, and then the engine was good and the transmission was mediocre, we dealt with Southern Hot Rod a couple times. So it wasn't Kevin's suggestion. In his video he says it was, but we actually had another customer deal with it, and it worked out really well. So anyway, I don't want to focus too much on what broke and what didn't break, but anyway, we moved past all this stuff, got the transmission done, got it to the racetrack, and it didn't go the 899 that he wanted to go. I know we took it to Modern Hemi Shootout. We had some problems, but in my mind, I've raced for 20 plus years. Not everything's perfect. You got to work at it, right? It doesn't just happen. Sometimes it happens, but the majority of the time it doesn't. You got to work on it. So he was super upset after going to the Modern Hemi Shootout. I kind of talked him through it and said, hey, Kevin, this is what happens. And so I think we had understanding. Again, I considered Kevin a friend. I know his brother. His brother seems like a nice guy as well. Nothing negative to say about his brother, but Kevin I thought was my friend, and that's not the case. Anyway, go back to the racing just for a second. This was a full-blown race car. So when we gave it back to him the last time, and he broke this engine with nitrous, he was cruising with his buddies, and I know people are like, you should be able to cruise with your buddies, right? I don't disagree. But at this point, with 1,000 horsepower to the wheel, 1,300 horsepower to the flywheel engine, and spraying 100 horse plus of nitrous on top of it, you got to be careful. And I will tell anybody, if you're going to spray your car with a supercharger, at any point you spray it, there could be trouble. And you have to be prepared for that. So cruising around with his buddies, roll racing a car that's on the edge anyway is not the best idea. So I think Kevin needs to take ownership of that. To me, that's not how you treat a car. I think it's disrespectful. And I don't know. I just have a problem with that. Anyway, we fixed that engine on our dime. I don't know why I guess I don't know why we did, because I guess some of it could be, his fault, not following directions. But anyway, so then we got the Trackhawk situation, right? And the whole payment on that thing, he claims nobody called him to get payment. Well, I got emails between him and Andy, got phone calls trying to get payment. There's a lot of misinformation that's in there. So I'm extremely disappointed about it. I hope Kevin can call me and we can work through some of this. But I think we did everything that we could. Was it a perfect situation? No. Stuff happens. And you got to understand that. But his Trackhawk not paying for it and then selling it, that's super disappointing to me. No, we didn't, call him every day for payment, but we did call him a few times after he picked it up. Andy's got an email. Just don't understand. And I put that out there because, again, this is really bashing Livernois Motorsports, and I think people need to know the facts about how we went out of our way to try to help this guy. And I really don't feel like there's any reciprocation. As soon as something doesn't go right, he's creating a video, and basically, I call it bashing. I think this is a Livernois bashing video. I don't see it any other way. Another couple things he said is about his gym, right? So he said I didn't care about his gym, but I told him I cared when I talked to him on the phone. Well, I never said on the post that I put in there that I didn't care about his gym. I said him opening a gym and not being able to pay for his Trackhawk, that's not my problem. But I want to be clear on this. I am excited he opened a gym. I think it's great. So that's definitely misinformation that he put out there, and I never said that. So anyway, let's get back to hang on. Let's get back to where we're going. But you know, we did end up, I believe that car still is the fastest stock blower, no nitrous Hellcat Charger. I believe we went, it was either 920s or 930s with it. So it did break records. I don't know. I'm really disappointed. I'm almost at a loss of words. And like I said, Kevin, you're welcome to call me. I don't want to do videos like this. This is not, in my mind, this is not what I consider exciting or fun or anything. So it kind of ruined my weekend. I would have much better had a phone call and say, hey, you know what? I'm super pissed off. I'm disappointed. Livernois sucks. You know, tell me that in person. Don't tell me everything's okay. As a matter of fact, a couple weeks ago, I actually texted him because he took the blower off and was getting it ported. And I'm like, hey man, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's good. So again, I thought he was a friend, and I think that's just not right. That's not what I would do. So anyway, you got my number. You're welcome to call me. Thanks for watching.